get started. Thank you all for coming. I hope everything is going well with you. Just a couple of updates to start off with. I did send a list of current PTK members to the registrar, to Ms. Sessions. So your transcript should now have the PTK marker on it. If it doesn't, for some reason, let me know so I can have her correct it. In addition to that, if you're transferring in the fall, you should still contact your colleges before your school's recruiter to see if there's any PTK money available to members. Now, how many of you are going to be here next year, next fall? Okay, so one of the things that we're need to start putting together is our officer team for the next year. So, how many of you would be interested in being three that raise their hands on the officer team? Okay. And I posted stuff on the Canvas page about the Honors in Action project and the college project, and we're going to talk about the college project a little bit today. But after the meeting, if you're interested in being in the officer team, and it's not binding, if you tell me today you're interested, I'll take down your name and I'll send you kind of a package of stuff that you would kind of be responsible for, to be transparent about what you'd be getting into. Okay, so we do have a couple of events coming up. The regional convention is on March 12th, and the other two chapters have invited us to go to Bay Minette to have like a watch party, a catered watch party with the other two chapters. So it's a Friday, so I imagine softball's probably playing. But if you can make it and you want to go, I will have a sign-up sheet on our Canvas page. That will be kind of a committal because we have to pay for, well, we're paying for it as a chapter to attend. So I will give you all the links in case you can't go, but still want to kind of check in on it if you can. Okay. Now, what would be discussed at the regional convention? Well, the regional convention is focused primarily on the chapter awards for the school year, and our chapter hasn't done a whole lot in the fall because we graduated pretty much everybody, and it was difficult to recruit when we weren't on campus. So I'm going to go ahead and sign up for this, and if you are interested in going to Bay Minette for the watch party, we will take a campus vehicle down there. Now, our international convention is April 8th through the 10th, and this is actually another thing where you sign up per chapter, and the what is that thing doing? I'm sorry. It looked like the video was staring at the bricks, but that's just the reflection on the screen. The international convention, this is really to see the speakers, and also our chapter gets a vote for international officers. So we can watch their speeches and their take on the Honors in Action project. Now today, so we can break it up a little bit, I want to focus on brainstorming ideas for our college project for this year, and then really ramping up in the fall. And then our next meeting in 2 weeks, we'll take a close look at the Honors in Action project, which is that research project that you can kind of work on something you're interested in and share those findings with the college, which is a really fun thing to do. I think everybody who has been very involved with an Honors in Action project has really gotten a lot out of it. Neely Harrison and Jessica Blair did our last one, and they both said, well, it wasn't, getting everything in was tough, but it was an experience that was worthwhile. That was the Honors in Action project where we kind of did a psychological study of fandom in the state of Alabama as far as college football goes. So let me, oh, and one other thing, is there an update on the SGA 5K or the? Okay. Yeah, and certainly I wouldn't mind having us as a chapter, because we haven't had a whole lot to spend our budget on this year. Chip into the 5K so we can, have a presence on. Is the plan for the 5K to have like T-shirts and things like that? Mm-hmm. Something you might bring up in SGA/ambassadors, and there's SGA officers among you guys or no? Okay. McGuire's is doing their annual 5K in Pensacola in March. If there's anybody that wants to go and participate in that and kind of see how it's run, that might be helpful, especially since they're doing it in the era of COVID and trying to keep everybody safe until we can all get vaccinated, which might be something that's good. I'm still on the fence about whether I'm going to do it or not, but I think I am. I actually missed McGuire's run last year because of the regional convention. It was like the last thing that we got in before the world shut down. All right, so let's talk college project. Now, if you didn't get to the link on the Canvas page about the college project, the college project in a nutshell is basically something we do as an organization that benefits our campus. And one of the first steps in it would be to meet with our campus director, Dennis Fuquay, to share ideas about what we might want to do. Typically, if we have something that we want to do around campus and it will benefit students, generally speaking, we might get input from the administration, but they don't necessarily overhaul it, if you know what I mean. So we talked about this at the last meeting. This is and we don't have to do this if you guys don't want to. This is my contribution to the brainstorm to get us started. Now, what would be involved in something like putting signs out in front of every building, identifying which building it is, and probably the 2-letter code that you would see on your schedule to avoid confusion for a first-time student. One thing that you would do with the college project is not just say, okay, we got this place to donate the lumber, we got this place to donate the tools or what have you. It's not just that. We'd probably start this spring with surveying current students saying, okay, the first day you stepped on campus, was this a problem? Why was it a problem? Or how much, were you late to a class? Did it stress you out? Whatever it might be. Then you take that information, that survey, and you probably go back to the administration just to show, I'm certain it would show, students were confused and things like that. Then you try and find either the money for the material, where you do like fundraisers, or try to get it at a discount or a donation, right? And since this is kind of a lumber town, that might be easier. But because this is your organization, What are some other things, and let's just brainstorm ideas, things that you think we could do better as a campus for our students? We've got food now, that helps. But what are some other things you'd like to see on campus? Especially since most of you live at the dorms. More trash cans. That's not a bad idea. See, that's the type of thing that we can do is a recycling program on campus, or even, the trash issue prevents, people saying, well, I don't want to walk to the trash can, I'm just going to flick it in the bushes or something like that. That's why you can't buy gum at Disneyland or Disney World. And Walt Disney realized that people wouldn't walk more than, I think it's 50 feet to throw something away. That's why they're kind of tasteful in Disney World, but there's trash cans about every 50 feet. So you don't have a reason to litter. So I like that idea, certainly. What else? Uh-huh. That's an interesting idea. I like that. Kind of a community pantry / clothing availability. Are there thrift stores in Burden? There used to be a Dirt Cheap, but I don't even know if it's there anymore. Is it still there? But still, people who are student age might be not real comfortable with seeking out help, or it could be just as simple as, you're living in the dorms and you don't feel like going to the store after practice, so you can grab a can of chunky soup on the way out. It could be something as simple as that, but I do like that idea. What are some other things we can do to make campus better? What about activities? Yeah. And to be fair, our campus director, let me write that, Dennis Fuquay, he really wants to bring more student activities to campus. In fact, we are kind of on track with that. We're having things like dances through ambassadors and, cookouts for basketball games and softball games, and then everything shut down, and it made it that much harder to do stuff. But I think, trying to find student activities, especially now, to keep people more connected to campus could be helpful. What are some academic issues you've had since all the lockdown has started that we can maybe think of ways to help students that are not doing well because of disconnect with the college? Mm-hmm. There is tutoring for math. There's also the 24/7 tutoring on Canvas. But if people don't know where this is or how to access it, that might be something we could explore, especially if we take 2 or 3 of our members and say, okay, you go to the 24/7 tutoring thing on Canvas. Basically, make yourself an expert. You teach the PTK chapter, and then we present it to the college and kind of educate students about, okay, this is the tutoring we have on campus. Here's how you navigate the online tutoring system in Canvas. That's something that could really help a lot of students, I think, just knowing where your resources are. Because there's already so much in college and in this kind of stage in your life where people kind of expect you to know things, but nobody ever tells you, well, you should know how to write a resume. Well, I've never done one before. How do I do it? So that type of thing, those kind of soft skills. And PTK is really big on that. In fact, the Competitive Edge program is all about soft skills, interviewing skills, how to apply for jobs, how to apply for scholarships. And that's kind of like a self-paced class that you can do on the PTK website. So what are anything else we can think of to kind of improve the college community? I think we got a good list here, and what I'll do is I will write these up in an announcement on the Canvas page, and then have it open to comments. So if you know anybody that couldn't make it today to the meeting, have them put a comment down there if anything comes to mind. What we'll do is we'll kind of let this sit for a couple weeks. Next week we'll vote on like the category we want to explore. And then also we'll talk about the Honors in Action project. I want to focus just kind of one thing at a time. So we're building on our knowledge of PTK, and then we can move on to putting some of this stuff in action before the end of the term, or have a plan going into the summer. I know some of you, if not all of you, go somewhere else during the summer, but as we've learned over the last year, we can do a lot through telecommuting and on things like Zoom and Skype for Business and all that. So, all right. So these are the things I wanted to cover today. Is there any questions or comments, concerns? How many of you are transferring in the fall? I already talked to you about the UAB. Anybody transferring to South or Alabama? Okay, because their scholarship deadlines are usually around the 1st of March, so I wanted to kind of point it out. Also, the fall scholarship deadline for Coastal, I think, is the end of this week. So I know you guys, if you're student athletes, you have a scholarship taken care of, but if you're watching on the video, keep those in mind. And I'll keep posting, I get emails from four-year schools all the time about potential scholarships for Phi Theta Kappa students. I'm going to keep posting those on Canvas as I get them. So do come back to the page occasionally, especially if you're looking for money for your four-year education. All right, well, thank you so much for coming. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, I'll write these up into an announcement, and we'll kind of get our ideas in place for next week, and then we can vote on what we want to do. So if you are watching online, make sure you come in a couple weeks, which will be, do you like this Monday time? Does that work pretty well? Okay. Next meeting will be Monday the 8th of March, and we'll get organized for the regional convention. I'll go ahead and put in our application as a chapter to be able to attend. Alrighty, well, thank you so much. If you have practice today, practice hard, do well, and I'll see you all in a couple weeks.